Hey everybody, my name's Gabe Giannis, and if I hated you, you would know. Hey, welcome to this latest issue of If I Hated You, You Would Know. It's been a couple weeks. Last week was a culmination of several things. First, I went to 2 concerts in 3 days, which is something I have not done in a very long time. I'll probably talk about the bands I saw and just kind of that sort of stuff in the next issue. I sat down and interviewed my mom and fucked it up completely because one of the mics gain was like super up or something, so there's just like this high-pitched screaming noise through like the entire interview, and you can't really hear either of us talking. So I gotta reach out to my mom, talk to her about that. Yeah, I'll probably text her right before I publish this video because that's super frustrating to me. But I should be seeing her in a couple weeks. And like, the reality of it is honestly like the conversation was just so important to have that I kind of, whether it's here or not, doesn't really matter to me a whole lot. Like for me, it was just about having that big conversation with my mom about just our past and stuff. But I know she would like the story to be out there, so maybe we can sit down and do it again. I did sit down with my friend Rob and interview him. The audio sounds okay on that because I noticed that it was spiking because I wasn't nearly as nervous to interview him because he's, not my mom. Yeah, but so I did all of that stuff. Also, just life, and then I got food poisoning, and so just last week and kind of into this week were a wash, and so yeah, now I'm just back making a new issue, doing my thing, and yeah, today we're going to talk about pursuing your passions, and how that relates to like being a parent, I think, in some ways. Yeah, I think that's kind of the direction I'm going to take it. And then I'm going to talk about a book I finished called Judaism Without Tribalism, by Rabbi Rami Shapiro, who I'm going to try to reach out to and hopefully have the opportunity to speak with him someday, but who knows? Just always reaching out, and then past that, I just really don't have, I don't really have a whole lot more, other than the interview with Rob, which will be here at the end. We talk about a lot of different stuff, but I talk to Rob a lot about humor, because he's genuinely one of the funniest humans I know. And like the interview in and of itself is pretty funny. I laugh a lot, so hopefully you guys laugh a lot too. Anyway, I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so I have 2 independent experiences with Cody in the last 2 weeks. One was yesterday, 8:30 in the morning, knocking on their door. Come on, bud, it's time to get up. Like, it's time to wake up. You told your band teacher that you would be there to help him with stuff on Tuesdays over the summer. You made this commitment. It's time to do it. I don't wanna get up. Just absolutely exhausted, from just the first few days of summer break. Like, we all remember it going as hard as possible, like those first few days, because you want to squeeze every millisecond of life out of summer break. But they ended up going, and afterwards they told me they had a really good time. And that's in relation to their band concert that had happened just the week before. And when they were done with it, they jump into my car and they say to me, "Dad, band is my life. I want to be a band teacher when I grow up." And I remember how people responded to me when I told them I wanted to be an artist when I grew up. That doesn't make any money. You got to go to college. You got to do this. You got to get a job. You got to be that. Pursue money. Get it at all costs. By the time I was 14, I had a job every summer. By the time I was 16, I was working full time. I was cast as the modern Major General in the Pirates of Penzance. And my understudy did most of the performances because I forgot to ask the time off from work. I think I skipped a lot of my youth and childhood in an effort to just get ahead. And, my dad wasn't, poor. He was comfortable. My mom, was a trust fund person cosplaying as a poor person. So, like, I just didn't have access to the same kind of resources that a lot of the kids around me had, because they were in private school and, their parents just did stuff for them. So I thought the way to get ahead was to do what I'd always been told to do, which was work hard. And I did that for like 30 years. COVID kind of put a hard stop on it, and I realized how like unhappy I was working all the time, and that I wanted to start pursuing the things that I loved. And the way I started doing that was by driving a cab, because I like driving cars, so it's a good way to make money, but also like the schedule revolves around you, and you fall into the same traps trying to chase money, but it gave me the opportunity to jump into civics and, get myself back into school, which is an ongoing process, and all this other stuff, right? And that put me in a position where, I'm not making very much money, but I'm pursuing my passions. And there's so much more life and satisfaction in doing that than in making money. And in that moment, with all those emotions and thoughts I remember how people responded to me when I said I wanted to be an artist. I responded to Cody by saying, do it. It doesn't matter. Good chance you're going to be poor no matter what. Good chance you're going to struggle no matter what. Would you rather struggle in drudgery, hating every second of your life? Or would you rather struggle doing something that you love? And I think the answer is super simple. Do what you love. And why does Cody love it so much? Like, music has this power to do like these crazy things to us. It builds us with emotion. It fills us with thoughts and feelings and dreams and desires. Like, music can inspire us, it can depress us, it can energize us, it can calm us. Like, there's something about the way sound moves through our bodies, and the way people can attach their emotions to those sounds, that allows us to feel what they're feeling, to empathize and understand. Like, people that only dig through pop music, I think they are experiencing a lot of these things. Like, you see people's responses to like Taylor Swift and things like that. But the people that are constantly digging for more and more music, I find, are almost constantly digging for like more and more feeling, like a what's deeper, what's closer, what's more real. And that ability to like connect with emotion and feeling is like so powerful and so important. It's why Cody comes up saying, band is my life, right? And then it gives us the power to connect to people. Cody's teacher is like their hero. This guy that, he's probably like my age, and he's been a high school, band teacher for, quite a while from what I understand. But the thing that is incredible is he's creating not just connections between him and the students, but between like students together. There's a upperclassman in Cody's class that they really connected with. They played the same instrument, and like that connection is something that I've never seen Cody really have before, with somebody that is different than them but shares an interest. And so they bonded deeply over music. And I remember that feeling, man. Like, the band I was in, like, in and right after high school, like, we lived together. We were family. Like, it was so tight. When I moved to Denver, the band that I was in with those guys, like, we all worked together. We spent all our time together. We practiced together. Like, music connects people. And being a music teacher isn't just about connecting people with each other. It like connects people with like the history and the breadth and the depth of like music and emotion and the power of those things. So Cody saying to me, I want to be a band teacher, is that thread. So this music is life, band is life. I want to teach, I want to express, I want to share. Man, what a beautiful thing. Who gives a shit how much money you make doing it? How much more important is that to humanity than another accountant? You know, how much more important to the emotional well-being of, you know, men, women, and children is that than the next AI CEO? I want Cody to pursue that forever, and I want everybody to be able to pursue those things of writing and music and art and indulging and delving into human creativity. Like, as the world becomes more efficient at making things, why do we still keep having to work so much harder for so much less? Just let people be free. If we're going to be poor anyway, do what you want to do what you love, pursue your passion, make a dumb YouTube zine that comes out ostensibly every week, you know, do art, make your own art. Like, you know, you can, if I leave my head right, you can see the start of my Donald Trump pinata. I have my shrine. I've been doing lino cuts, you know, and I don't know what to do with that stuff yet, but you know, I'm building towards something different. Like, I don't want to go back to just breaking my body to make sure that I have some money. I would much rather work my mind and be creative to make a little bit of money. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I would love to hear you guys. What are things that you backburnered and picked up? Or what are the things that drive you passionately? Like, I have a friend that's really into woodworking. Like, I have a friend that's really into writing. I have a friend that's really into drawing. A friend that's really into painting. A friend that's really into RC cars. Like, you know, like, what's the thing that drives you? What's your passion? What motivates you? And then do it. Like, I'm not saying be irresponsible, but do the things you love. Be the thing you want to be. Take the risk on yourself. Like, whatever self-doubt you have, like, there's a good chance you're lying to yourself, right? There's plenty of things that I screw up constantly, and I linger on it forever, and I hold on to it forever, and I let it prevent me from moving forward. And I'm trying really hard not to do that. Like, today was honestly a challenge because of the screw up I had with the video with my mom. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to do it because I was second guessing myself because I made a mistake. But humans make mistakes, right? And that's okay. And you know what? Mistakes make us better. Literally the next interview I did was better because I noticed the problem, right? So we just keep going, keep plowing forward. But you know, it's a lot easier to trudge when you're trudging doing something that you enjoy. So owie. Quick sip of coffee. I won't do the whole NPR whisper this time. It's funny to me last time, but that's about all I got on this. It excited me so much to see my kids' passion like fully ignited for something. And I felt really good as a parent to just say, go for it. Like, fuck the naysayers. Do what you want to be what you want to be. Like, I'm encouraging my kids to do that all the time. Which reminds me, I need to text Sophia because she's the only kid I haven't bought books for this month. So, so anyway, all right. I should say this. Love you, Cody, if you watch this. You're awesome. Thanks for letting me talk about you. Yeah. Anyway, be back in a second. All right. So So the next thing I want to talk about is this book. And I think, oh man, the sun is bright. I didn't use light, I used sun. Judaism Without Tribalism by Rabbi Rami Shapiro. Hopefully that turns up facing the right way. It was on screen, so anyway. Yeah, this is a book of effectively Jewish philosophy, kind of expressing a way of understanding and engaging with Judaism that I would say is significantly different from most Jewish thought that I have encountered before it, but not so different that it's like unrecognizable, right? So if you read like Slavoj Zizek, I think is how you say his name, Slavoj Zizek's Christian Atheism. So that book is like incredibly dense, and really complex, ideas that like kind of revolve around, largely around like Marxist thought and like all these different like interminglings of conceptualizations and how Christian philosophy and like atheistic philosophy can actually like manifest together, etc., etc. Like, this is not that, where it's like something in creation of something new. This is more in service to like understanding the breadth and the simplicity of Judaism. So the first thing I would say is, philosophically, it is very easy to digest. Like, I've been reading a bunch of like philosophical books over the last couple of years. The next episode, I'm going to talk about how a book that I found super challenging in high school was super easy because of the ridiculous crap I've been reading lately. But philosophically, this book is extremely easy to digest. It's very well written, but it's written in like very common language, and like any non-English words are very clearly defined and like defined multiple times, which is always very nice, especially in like a more a more popular or like casual readers version of like a philosophical book. Practically, the things that he's talking about in the book are very simple to like enact, right? He talks basically about how I should actually pull this up. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. So when he talks about it, he talks about how there are basically just two fundamental aspects to what is important in Judaism. I may fast forward through part of this. I may not. I may cut some of this. I may not. You never know. Here we go. I assume that right before this, you're going to see a like that. So he talks about how there's only two aspects to Judaism that matter. One is teshuvah, which is returning to God and ancestors through repentance. And the other one is tikkun, which are actions taken to repair the world. So everything else is built on that. So being accountable for your own actions and then taking actions to make the world better. And everything else is based on that. And a lot of it has to do with not taking things at face value, questioning, reasoning, understanding, and trying to be more empathetic, to be what he literally states as a blessing to all the families of the world, right? When the Torah refers to being a blessing to all the families of all the, or not the Torah, the Talmud, I forget. Sorry, it's not the religion that I grew up with, so my connections are not always fully there, and I'm constantly trying to learn this stuff, but if I make mistakes, like I always say, please correct me. I'm more than willing to hear that. If you have a different opinion than what I'm saying the book is about, then you would have to talk to Shapiro, but I am also willing to talk with you about that too. But when they talk about being a blessing to all the families of the world, it's very specifically like, in spite of anything that may disconnect you from them. It's like intentionally non-othering. It's intentionally saying literally all the families of the world. Like, don't, this isn't just for the Jews. This isn't just for Christians. This isn't just for somebody else. Like, it is for everyone. And I think that is really, really incredible. Like, it even talks about how, like, there's this concept of having 64 saints that are out there constantly doing that. Like, they're, almost in like a state of perfection. And the Talmudic writings about it, where rabbis are talking about like these 64 saints, is saying like, we don't know who they are, and like, they may not even be Jewish, because like, God is more powerful than that. And yeah, it is a theology based in an understanding that there's a deity, but in this reading, his understanding of that is very different. He thinks of the deity of God as all things, right? So we too are like manifestations of that. The way he expresses it is like as a wave in an ocean. Like, the ocean is the substance of all the things, and waves come up, and they are this unique individual part of that ocean for like a brief split second of time. And then when it crashes, it just returns, right? It goes back into the ocean. What a beautiful way to think about just like our existence, about, if you believe in deity, believing in that sense. Like, these kind of philosophical thoughts lead us to questions, which he talks about being fundamental to Judaism, that they're wrestlers of God. Like, that when we think about, the origins of Judaism, that's a moment where he's literally wrestling with God to understand better, and this kind of more simple, more empathetic, more human focused, or like humanity focused way of looking at religion is something that's always appealed to me. When we think about like the social gospel and like, the work of people in Buddhism and Islam that spend their lives like in service, guys like Noah Levine, like using his Buddhism as a avenue for like recovery, like really comes to mind. This sensibility of what's important isn't me winning you over to my religion. What's important is me being of service to you. What's important is me caring that you are human like me, that we are both suffering, and that if we spend even a brief amount of time working together, we can create good things and we can help each other. This kind of like fundamental way of thinking differently about religion, I'm sure has been around for a very long time. He talks a bit about some of the Spanish Jewish philosophers, guys like Spinoza, who like literally, like Baruch Spinoza is why we had the Enlightenment. Like, in a lot of ways, between him and like the encounters of Europeans with Native Americans, like those kind of two things coming together, really opening the eyes of Europeans up to like different ways of thinking and different ways of living, like fundamentally changed how we think about humanity. And now we're at the precipice of being able to attempt to do things like that again, where we have so many connection points that we can see that fundamentally most religion is trying to tell us the same thing. And that same thing is treat other humans graciously. Not across the board. Not every text says that. Not every text says that all the time, I should say. Like, most spiritual texts bring that up, but most spiritual texts also create like exclusion, right? So it's this constant like pull back and forth of like trying to understand how religion has like affected us and is affecting us, and how it can also like change itself to do what it's always been meant to do, which is create bonds with people and build people and bolster people. I have a lot of thoughts about this, right? I find that religion in general has been utilized to harm and subjugate people. But at the root of all religions is an attempt to bind people together in like community and harmony. So it creates this intense dichotomy where like the attempt and the ideas are great, and then the execution and the follow-up are horrible. And so I think books like Judaism Without Tribalism are important steps in like going past that history and saying, okay, we acknowledge, we recognize that all these bad things have been done to us, been done by us, been done through us, been done with us. How do we change that? And it takes people challenging like the paradigms and the dynamics of like the systems that they're inside of. It takes people saying, hey, in the old wrestling parlance, that ain't gonna work for me, brother. You know, just finding a way to fundamentally change how we think about what religion is could fundamentally change how religion is executed. Like if we understand it as a vehicle for helping others, how much more powerful and useful can it be if we just maintain it as a way to separate ourselves from everybody else? I mean, it's going to die off. Like that's what, I mean, we see that in the United States already, that, you know, less and less people are engaged in like religion because so much of religion is just couched in excluding as many people as possible to make our own special little clique. And that's what this book's all about, is like breaking down those walls, breaking down those tribalisms, breaking down like all of those sensibilities that, because I identify as this kind of religion or sect or subsect or sub-subsect of a religion, then I am right and you are wrong, and we can no longer work together or speak or interact. I think it's one of my main frustrations with a lot of atheists. Like I was harmed like by the church, but I don't actively go out of my way to hate Christians, because I understand that at their core, every person is a human and has motivations and obligations and ways of seeing the world. And that very rarely is someone so far gone that they are irredeemable in a humane sense. Like, I've seen a lot of people come from bad, dark, low places and bad, dark, high places to become really great people. So, yeah, let's start breaking down some of those barriers. Like, I don't need any... Like, us versus them is stupid. It's us. Like, even the worst of us, the billionaires and the people that don't live like us, they're still humans. They've just lost the way to, like, relate. They've lost the way to engage. They've separated themselves so deeply that I think they don't feel like they're humans anymore. They feel like there's something better and different. It's just not true. I don't know. Everybody has the opportunity for a redemption arc. Just, I hope it can be more of us than less of us. This book made me think a lot. Made me think a lot about how I interact with people, how I respond to people, and that's something that I'm constantly trying to evaluate. Like, how can I be better? How can I be more of a human? and less of a Gabe is pissed about XYZ. I think focusing on that has really pushed me away from engaging with politics as much too, like on a national level, because I don't have access to those people to talk with them and have these kind of conversations. So there's not a lot I can do. What I can do is here, talking with people here, engaging here, seeing what I can do to help my community here. So yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I loved the book. I'm going to reach out to the author. Hopefully I can get him on the show. Who knows? Sometimes things work great. Sometimes they fall through the cracks, but I try to figure it out. Yeah, past that, I hope you guys are having a good one. I don't know why I said that like that, but I'm going to, this is the worst transition I think I've ever done on an issue of this before. So I'll be right back with an interview that I won't introduce. It'll just go right into the interview. And then afterwards, I'll be back with a conclusion.
Of the things as a culture, older generations have a harder time keeping up with music than anything else. And I think that's super helpful that younger generations are like, you should listen to this.
My kid, especially Bailey, because Bailey and I, and you can scoot back and we'll kind of point at each other. And I should turn off.
I just don't want to shake your setup.
Oh, it's whatever. Like I don't hardly edit or anything. I just do it. I don't know. It's for me. It's more like an art project than anything.
Cool. Yeah, so that's a great way to do it.
So I put exactly as much effort into it as I want.
Hello.
Really?
Hello, really? You. Oh, come on. Oh, I got this belly now.
She's like, oh my God, what have I done?
You wanted the attention. Now you got it.
All right, Loki, I'm going to take away your bone if you don't stop chewing it right under the table. I went and did this with my mom. I don't know what I did, but like somehow like my mic is just making this like high-pitched whistling noise like the entire time.
Oh, no.
So like I gotta call her and be like, hey, you know that like super personal thing we just did that was kind of hard for both of us?
Let's do it again.
Can we do it again?
Let's do it again, but not pretend like it's for the first time.
No, it'll come up. I'll probably talk about it in the video today. Well, not right now, but like when I record it. I don't know why I'm explaining. I'm such a fucking nerd.
This is great.
I'm such a dumbass with this shit. So I've been like, I try to reach out to like people that write books that I enjoy and stuff like that. And half the time I get a manager that's just no thanks. Yeah. And I can tell that they're like, yeah, you are not a professional.
Yeah. But I think if I was like at that level, that's what I would. Those are the interviews I'd seek out.
I would probably prefer it.
Yeah. Because they're probably going to ask nerdy questions, but they're probably going to ask something that a trained interviewer wouldn't ask. That would be fascinating.
Like that's why like guys like Nardwar.
Yeah.
That's why he was so cool, is he was asking like really random stuff, but it was like stuff people kind of wanted to know.
Yeah. But also he like clearly did his research. So it was just like, here's a gift for you based off of this really niche thing.
It's like the dude from Hot Ones is that way too, where
Sean Evans.
Like, what the
I've come to dislike that I guess the popularization of Hot Ones to that level. Because now if you want to plug anything, you have to go on Hot Ones. Yeah. So it takes some of the spontaneity out of it.
And the specialness out of it,
But he does some of the best interviews of anyone doing interviews.
My favorite thing that he's done of late, though, is the GWAR versus ICP. And like they're doing the Wings of Death thing. They have to do like trivia, and like I mean it's GWAR and ICP. So like already we're at like it's 2 or 4 costume morons, like just like being complete dorks.
It is a genre unto itself.
And then like So Shaggy, the thinner of the ICPs, he's fine with the wings. Like, he is a spicy food guy, so he does not care. Jay is not okay with it. Like, he is dying, like, literally before our eyes. And so Guar asks him about, you know, you guys were labeled as, like, a criminal organization. You know, would you like to apologize to the government? And Shaggy's like, oh, fuck no. And then Violent J's like, do we have eaten another one of them wings? And they're like, yeah. He's all,
if I apologize to him.
I'm sorry, FBI. They's just kids, man. We're sorry we smoked so much marijuana. Like, I mean, he just, like, is impassionately like, I am so sorry. As long as I don't have to eat that, I don't give a shit. Like, it was incredible.
So we did the Hot Ones challenge at the library.
Oh, my gosh.
And we filmed it. And it's not, the filming's great. You're not going to get the same sort of like random questions because we're not allowed. Like, I can't give you unvarnished opinions because it's part of my job.
Right.
But having tried the flavors for whatever season it was, like 7 of them
are really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, taste good, but the spice is really well balanced. The bomb
is gross.
Is poison. Like, like I had, and we weren't even, I understand why people get so messed up, because if it's chicken wing, you're like fucking with it, right?
Yeah.
We just had little poppers, so you could be like, none, and you didn't have to worry about this.
The eyeballs.
Yeah, you're not dealing with your hands or whatever. But yeah, the bomb was like, I chewed it, and then wanted it to go down, and my body was like, nope. I was like, so I guess we're just going to keep chewing this. And then immediately I had the hiccups, just like deep, violent hiccups.
Where your chest feels like it's caving in.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's fucking horrible. And then the 2 after that one, not as bad.
Yeah.
You know, not like the first 7, but like.
They like set you up to fail for sure.
Yeah.
Like that third to last one is the worst on the show from my understanding, and it's definitely the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. Like, it was pretty rough.
It's not food.
No,
it is made
hot.
It is made in the desert of Roswell to like put down dissidents.
You know what it is? Like, it's made in the same spirit that like buttered corn soda is made.
Yeah,
like it's just there to be gross. Like,
you want to try some of this? This smells terrible.
This is for a dare.
Yeah.
Oh man, Skittles has joined us today. I think a lot, won't you? Oh my goodness!
What a beautiful baby.
Oh, I know, and she's also the worst.
The worst.
Awesome. All right. Well, so I'll actually start this. Sure. Probably a lot of that will end up in here.
That's
just
that's
be great. Like, I'll do like a rewind. Okay, so I'll face the camera, do the intro, and then we'll just talk. That's all that really happens. Hello, welcome back. I'm not going to introduce myself because I'm trying to break that habit. But today I'm joined with Rob, and as always, Rob, you're going to be better at doing this than I will be. Tell us who you are.
My name's Rob Walker, human being. So I am a writer and performer. I've written plays, radio plays, role-playing games, one movie that came out, co-wrote. Trying to think of what else. A bunch of stuff. Comedian, magician. Gabe's friend.
Are you willing to admit that on camera?
I am.
Incredible, yeah.
I am. It's like,
so obviously, like, I take the inspiration from the introduction, and I think the thing that really made me want to do this is you just flatly going, Rob Walker, human being. You have a capability of making me laugh like all the time.
Oh, okay.
And so Where do you think, because you have this sense of humor, like, so there's like comedians, you know, like normal comedians, like Adam Sandler, he just does dumb shit and that's funny, haha. But then there's guys like Zach Galifianakis, where like everything he does, like it kind of has a purpose, but it's also like very strange and largely inaccessible sometimes. You have that kind of sense of humor. Where do you think that was birthed?
Well, thank you. I don't know. Like I only recently, I'm about 2 years into trying stand-up, but I've written humor for over a decade. You've read my Hard Times stuff. I wrote for the Hard Times for a little while. I don't want to brag. Probably responsible for getting Guar on NPR.
Nice. There you go.
Based off the article I wrote. I like the silly, and I think the comedians that I respond to the most have deep things to say, but are also not afraid to get silly. And I feel like Zach Galifianakis falls into that category. I think Dana Gould is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Maria Bamford's up there for me. Gary Goldman. Gary Goldman gets into like the really intellectual sort of picking apart of things and then brings it around to being really goofy and silly. And I've always really responded to that. As an adult, and since I don't know if your viewers are aware of this, but the world's ended. It's over. Pack it in. We did it. Nice hustle out there, everybody.
But show up on Monday for work.
For real, yeah. Like, we all still have... The zombie apocalypse happens. People still need the rent money. I've recently discovered the work of Albert Camus.
Okay.
Who... His whole thing is becoming comfortable with the absurdity of life. And I think that's a way like distilled version of what his philosophy is. But I like that a lot. I think like being able to laugh at and deal with the absurdity of life and realize that we like to put things in boxes, but
there are no boxes.
The world's...
It's nuts. And it's so one of the things that's really fascinating. I've been reading a lot of philosophy lately. Mm-hmm. Like I've always been a big enjoyer of religions and philosophy, but I stumbled into this guy that was talking about how we're creating a new religion and all this other stuff. And so like these ideas that like nothing works until it's like in relation with something.
Yeah.
So there are no like natural orders of laws because we have no idea how two things will interact with each other until they do.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, everything's just kind of crazy and random and absurd.
Yeah.
Do you think, so when I was a kid, I was big like Monty Python enjoyer, big, you know, Fry and Laurie, you know, those dumb, like the dumb PBS BBC comedy was what I got to watch because my parents wouldn't pay for cable, you know, but were there things like that in your childhood too that like, were you like that kind of kid into weird nerdy comedy stuff?
So I didn't get into Monty Python until, you know, college probably. I did forensics, and if you do high school forensics, you're going to hear the Dead Parrot sketch at least once a year, done by non-professionals. It's a rite of passage. So I heard the Dead Parrot sketch. Huge Terry Gilliam fan, so I knew of his kind of connection to them, and they always were in his stuff.
Yeah.
As far as comedy goes, I'm a Simpsons guy. I grew up on The Simpsons. Grew up on Mad Magazine. One of the funniest jokes I think about often from Mad Magazine is it's an ad for euphemism condoms for when you're ready to pull the train into the station.
That's good stuff.
It's good,
like,
right?
And what's crazy is when I was 12, I would not have gotten that joke. You know, I was such a sheltered kid. I would have read it and been like, that's supposed to be funny, so I'm going to laugh at it. And then like 3-4 years later, been like, oh.
Yeah. Or Saturday Night Live. So like everyone has their, now that I'm thinking of it, Saturday Night Live was huge in my sort of span of that, because everyone has like when they start watching and then when they stop watching.
Right. It's like your era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I started watching, Phil Hartman was still on it, Mike Myers was coming up in it, Adam Sandler was still pretty young in it.
Chris Farley.
But Jan Hooks was there, Chris Farley started. It was a tail end of Dennis Miller doing Weekend Update, but going into Kevin Nealon and then into Norm Macdonald. And then I watched it into college when it was Tina Fey and Jimmy Fallon were the ones doing it, I think. So grew up on that, but also during that time, I watched a ton of In Living Color, which doesn't get enough credit. It of course launched the career of Jim Carrey.
Right.
But
and the Wayans brothers.
And the Wayans brothers, but just stellar sketch comedy from those guys. And then Mad TV, I would argue the first maybe 4 years of Mad TV, maybe the first 3
really good writing
are really good.
Yeah.
I still think about sketches from them that I think
Stewart.
Stewart. Or there's one, and I think it was from season 1, and it was David Herman, the guy who he's a voiceover actor now. He's Michael Bolton in Office Space.
Oh yeah.
And Artie Lang
stole his name.
Yeah. And Artie Lang, and David Herman wakes up and he's like, oh, he's clearly hungover.
Yeah.
And Artie Lang is sitting there in a suit with an earpiece, and he goes, "Good morning, Mr. President." And he's like, oh, what? And the whole premise of it is that he got hammered drunk, ran for president, and won. And it's the beginning of his second term. And he's just now waking. He doesn't remember anything.
He's been blacked out for a full term.
And I think about that and I laugh
the Pete
hard again.
Hegseth story.
Yes. Yeah. And this is in the mid '90s
right.
that they called this. Smith, John, human man for president, who's clearly an alien.
Nice. I remember the lady that brings the baby to the parents and hands them the baby. And it's a black couple and it's a white baby.
Yeah.
And they're like, "This isn't our baby." And she just goes, "Congratulations." They're like, "But we had a girl. This is a boy.
Yeah.
Congratulations."
Yeah.
Just over and over, that kind of just bizarre,
Yeah.
lean into the comedy until it's not funny and then funny again.
Yes. Yeah.
And they were really good at doing that.
And Mad TV, Mo Collins is great. They I can't believe I'm spacing all their names, but they had a scrum of women performers who were just killers.
Yeah.
But they also launched Key and Peele. Key and Peele came out of Mad TV.
Right.
So yeah. So it was that kind of thing. The Onion, when I discovered The Onion, that was pretty big. So yeah.
So I've done a lot of writing in my life. I've written a lot of fiction. I've written a lot of nonfiction. I like to write about media and things like that. I'm really shitty at writing comedy. I can talk to someone. I can tell a really funny story verbally.
You're great at telling funny stories.
But writing something funny, when I write it down, it is very wooden. And not it. It always seems stilted when I think about it after the fact. Even if I'm writing down things verbatim, because so much of comedy for me is performance, right? Is movement and my gestural nature. When I read your Hard Times articles, for example. Mm-hmm. Hilarious. I laugh to myself. People like Dave Barry, or even locally in Greeley, this guy named Mike Peters that used to write Gnarly Trombone.
Yeah.
How do you access that? What are there techniques that you use to hone the comedic writing skills?
So with the Hard Times, I was very fortunate to work with with a group of 1 or 2 editors that were really would kind of tell you if something didn't quite work. But they had a formula. So when writing for the Hard Times, they'd be you have, I think it was 300 words. It wasn't very much.
They weren't very big,
really,
yeah.
Yeah. And it would be this paragraph has to introduce the central premise and characters or whatever. This paragraph so it was getting to the funny in 4 paragraphs. So you really had 4 jokes that you were trying to tell.
Okay.
And that was super helpful. It's I can do that. And that kind of working for them kind of helped me change how I thought about comedy. And I also, writing comedy, I also was fortunate enough to work with a group of duo of writers, Stephanie Uhas and Matt Conant. And we were developing a TV show for years. Surprise, it didn't go anywhere. Unfortunately, even though it was fucking awesome. They were always big fans of like, this is really funny, or this is really weird, but we need a joke here. So like, there has to be, we can't waste any space. It has to be joke.
It's like joke per second kind
of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't always prescribe to the joke per second mentality, because sometimes I feel like you need room to breathe. But I also, if you're doing an article, that's paramount. If you're writing if you're writing a half-hour comedy TV show, like you got to be thinking about that too.
Yeah.
So
you have to have the applause lines and things like that every so often because it's partially a commercial endeavor too. It's got to build to the thing, then have break, then build to the thing and have break. It's like my brain doesn't think that way about stuff.
And mine
that seems really hard.
Really either until I did those jobs. I'm working on a short story now that I'll have to send over to you because I think you would appreciate it. And that's one where I'm like, I don't think... I know the parts that I think are funny, but there are other parts that are probably funny that other people don't know. You're just kind of vibing at this point.
Right.
But it's about... the premise is that... so Disney parks are really weird because they have to get like... municipal variances for things, because if you're just going to plop a theme park into a town, it's a big deal.
Like in the middle of Florida, no
swampland. So one of my I love Disney. I love the work they put out. I think Walt Disney is a really fantastic figure. We do not agree on labor rights, and there are other things where I'm like, I think that was wrong. But fascinating figure, kind of gave us a lot of culture through his company and was always willing to try something new. But one of the weird things about Disney is that when he was developing Disneyland, he was standing either in Tomorrowland or Frontier. I think it was Frontierland, and he was like, he looked up and he saw an airplane. And he was like, oh, that's not going to work. Because if people are in Frontierland, we don't want to break the illusion of them being in the Old West by seeing an airplane. So this man had enough juice to like call Anaheim airspace or whatever and was like, what would it take for you guys to reroute your planes around my business?
To make us a no-fly zone.
Yeah, which still holds true today. So the premise of my short story is that a far-right militia wants to start a new utopia, and they learn through a zoning hiccup that It's a Small World is international waters. So they invade It's a Small World, and it's what happens after that. So there are parts of the story that I wrote like just an article. Like, this is something that actually happened. And then it fades into conversations between the characters.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know if it works. You'll have to tell me if it works or not.
I'm sure it will. So this kind of leads me into like my next thought. So you have like this ongoing like e-zine pneumatic tube.
Yes.
A pneumatic tube comes into my email every month and shows me a world of just super weird bullshit that I would have never seen. And I feel like I am a purveyor of weird bullshit, but you find different weird bullshit. Where do you find your weird bullshit? I do a lot of like Internet Archive, digging way too deep into like lost YouTube crap like that. But you find things that I'm like the flight patterns over Disneyland. Like, so where does that stuff come from? Where do you dig your stuff up?
I don't know where I learned. This is none of it's useful. All of it's bad.
Pure.
Doesn't make any money. There's that.
My goal is to make less money.
My goal is to pay you to watch me.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Twitch.
So I watch a lot of... It would be Rob Walker's OnlyFans. All right, I'm going to show feet.
If you don't pay me, I'll show my feet.
Come on. Give me the
You want me to keep these shoes on.
So I just follow what I think is interesting. I have two main features on the Pneumatic, or three main features on the Pneumatic Tube. The first one is just a blog talking about my life usually, or something I've been thinking about. Then it's music, and then it's art. I try to mix it up, like different genres of music, different genres of art. Artists ranging from like comic artists to fiber artists to like classic artists that nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Or maybe you do know, like, I don't know if I've done Goya yet, but he's definitely one of my favorites. But everyone knows him, but nobody
really knows about.
Yeah. Or some of his lesser known stuff. Everyone knows Saturn Devouring His Sons, but they may not know that that's like one of a collection of black paintings that he painted during the end of his life, and they're all
like
weird
and
like
on his house.
Yeah, on the walls of his house.
Super creepy. I have one of them on my battle vest. So.
He did one where it was like, or a few where it's like witches. He did like a witches series, which is really fascinating. Weird stuff like that. Music. I think before we began, you and I were talking about your child introducing you to new music.
Yeah.
That's the hardest, where it's like, well, what can I show people that I like, that I think they might also like, but that we haven't all heard before?
Right.
And we are kind of in a renaissance of new stuff, but you have to dig for it. Because all the superstars, your Taylor Swifts, who I like Taylor Swift, but she doesn't need anyone's help leading people to her music. But there are bands like, one of my favorites was Church of the Cosmic Skull.
Cosmic, yeah.
Or Cold Sweat is the song.
Yeah.
I love that. But I like...
Have you seen their video? They did a short series of videos where it's just them in their house, and it's like the cult devolving into like chaos. I'll have to find it for you. They're super. I love them. Great. They're like a super weird band. Yeah.
Electric Six is up there. They're really weird. But country, hip hop, like, and you're not gonna like everything, obviously, but it's nice to kind of just branch out. Where I find the articles, sometimes it's articles I find fascinating, but I miss the old internet. So for those of you at home who were younger than us,
Which used to be probably most everybody.
Yeah. There used to be a time when you just surf the internet for, hey, how's it going?
Hey, good.
Sorry, I tried calling you and I figured that you were like upstairs doing something, so.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry about it.
That's all right. No,
Cody, you've been in like pretty much every interview.
This
know
is
that,
great.
Right?
I love it.
You just walk in, and then I say, I'll probably edit it out, and then I don't.
Yeah,
because I have no interest in spending all that time.
It's a living thing. This is a living document.
Yeah, exactly.
So Internet Archive, I visit Internet Archive every day.
Me too.
Because they have out-of-print magazines, and I'm like a sucker for old magazines. We don't have magazines anymore. That's where I was going.
Which is so weird.
So the internet used to be a place where you'd have like 4 or 5 favorite websites, and you just go to those websites, and your day would be over online. But now, with social media is designed to keep you there by showing you shit other people have made, when you used to be able to just discover that yourself. So now we're outsourcing our discoveries to giant corporations. Yeah, I don't like it either. And that's a bummer. So one of the things I like to do with the Pneumatic Tube is give kind of a feeling of the old internet, show people weird things like from sites they wouldn't normally visit. So archive.org, I recommend that site to everybody.
Yeah.
Out-of-print books, or books you can't easily find.
Lots of old television too, and like television with the commercials in it, so you can, because like I don't think there's certain things about there's a YouTube channel called Horrible Home Video, and they brand themselves as Channel 42, which in and of itself is like a totally 90s kid joke. But what they do is he'll play episodes of like Monsters or like Ray Bradbury Theater, like stuff that he's not going to get copyright strike for. And then in between it, he does like the weird commercials. So like this last batch, there was a ton of like Ernest P. Worrell commercials.
Those are the best.
Or like, or, you know, for like...
Do any AIDS?
Yeah,
AIDS commercials
he has done a couple
from
of
the
those.
90s. Unhinged.
But like...
They really didn't want people getting AIDS.
And then... No, they did. That's how you lose weight. You got to get that AIDS so that you lose weight. Oh man, has there ever been like a future-looking bad marketing like that? But the other thing he does is he'll do like fake 900 numbers, like, have you ever wanted to talk to a corpse? You know,
Oh my God.
and like and it's just like a skeleton. You know, and then the 900 number,
Yeah.
it's all, give it a call to talk to our hot steaming corpses today. $1.95 first minute, 75 cents each additional minute. If you're under 18, like, and he does that, and that's just so gone.
And
like,
that is a vestige of a time that we no longer live in.
completely gone.
Yeah, so we'll come back to that.
Sorry.
So archive.org, there are 2 websites I visit pretty regularly. I used to visit Boing Boing all the time. Boing Boing's fallen off. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But Reddit has a subreddit called Obscure Media.
Yes.
That's a gold mine.
I also
And
like
it's-
Lost Media is a really cool
I'll have to
place.
check that one out. And then there's a website called kotkey.org where the founder of the website will it's kind of his version of the pneumatic tube.
Okay.
Where it's like, here's an interesting article, or here's someone I know that's working on this weird thing, and you scroll down there. And then there's a website called Open Culture, which is interesting things and articles and a lot of stuff about art. But then off to the side, they have like free college level classes.
Oh, that's cool.
Or like educational opportunities and stuff like that. So you can all for free. So you can learn all this stuff. And those are the main sources that I go to if I'm like, I don't know what to put here. So
I'm going to definitely make sure to link to that stuff because
Sure,
like
yeah.
there's, and I have a list, I have a list of like a bunch of like alternate search engines that don't use the same kind of like meta crawlers that like Google and Yahoo and all that use. So you get like the stuff that's, 2 or 3 layers below first instead of, having to go to page 9 to get started on your search. So
yeah,
Dan
we
and
talk
I-
about the enshittification of not just the internet but like of everything at my job.
Yeah.
Because it's like before Google was the best. Like they became the best for a reason.
And they still are, but they're worse than they used to be.
Yeah.
So it's like
they've made it intentionally worse so they can sell us ads before we
find
before
what
we
we need.
actually it's all the money.
So I don't want to keep you forever.
No, do it.
And so I'm trying to be kind of mindful of that, but because I know we could rabbit hole forever.
Oh yeah.
But so when I'm thinking about when I think about this kind of creative process, because I think you and I have a very similar sensibility about how we go about things, where an idea kind of infects us in the brain, and then we can't let it go, so we have to do something with it. There are certain things that always grab my attention, like a story, a short story or a movie about a punk band. I'm always gonna watch it. Things of werewolves, love werewolves, right? Or
Difficult to do.
Yeah, very difficult to do.
Not a lot of werewolf movies.
Just recently watched Howling 3: The Marsupials. It definitely holds up in the way that I wanted it to hold up.
You got out of it.
Hot garbage.
What you wanted to get out of it.
Yeah. But what are the lack of, for lack of a better term, the weird world thirst traps where you're just oh yeah, that's the thing I love.
Oh man. I talked about this kind of in the most recent Pneumatic Tube. I like secret codes. I like magic stuff. So performance magic. The history there is just fascinating. I like if a story borrows the Lovecraftian or Robert Chambers method of a cursed thing that will turn you mad or take you to another world, I'm in. Let's do it.
Somebody asked me about The King in Yellow a couple days ago, and I accidentally explained it for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It was and then?
Yeah. So I do a horror book club at Link at my library. And our first story was Graveyard Rats by... I can't remember his name now. but it first appeared in Weird Tales.
Right.
1930s. He was like 17 when he wrote it. He was correspondence with H.P. Lovecraft.
Nice.
And so then I'm telling...
probably not nice. They were probably racist, but cool, interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
But it's very Lovecraftian in their, there's stories of like witches and like cursed lands and like ghouls and stuff like that. But then I'm telling my group, like, there are these, here's a little bit about H.P. Lovecraft and like, here's pulp novels. Like, they didn't know what a pulp novel was.
Oh, wow.
And here, there's cursed objects. So, like, the Necronomicon, they're like, we don't know what that is. And I'm like, well, it's this book written by this fake guy. And then it has this, like, meta life on its own of being, like, a joke that college students would catalog a book.
And it was this.
And it was that. But it never existed. It's never going to exist. It's a MacGuffin in a story that's really great. So
I love fake books in books. It's like it's such a cool, fascinating thing to me that this imaginary book that probably Lovecraft has a whole headcanon of what's in that book, and we'll never know.
No.
Because like it never got written down. That's one of the things that I think is really fascinating about Tolkien is he did that.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, the headcanon, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to write it all down. And like, it's like almost impossible to read because it's like not for regular people's consumption. It's
for him and dorks.
But you can
spelled with an X.
Yeah. By the name of Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
It's about to be more than...
We're just, The movies are going to have appendices.
So, you were talking about, like, kind of this subversive, like, styles of comedy that you like, and kind of the thinking person comedy. I have to know, like, because I don't think I know a lot of people that even, like, have really seen much stuff, and I'm curious, do you have opinions on Nathan Fielder? Do you know who that is?
I do know who that is. I haven't seen a ton of his stuff. I think I'm not an expert, so take this with a grain of salt.
I already love where this answer's going.
I think that he toes the line of performance art and intellectual exercise and comedy.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we're supposed to digest that. You know
I
what
think
I mean?
that's what I like the most about him is when I get finished watching, probably the easiest stuff to watch is Nathan For You stuff.
Yeah.
Where he goes to try, like, save a building, gives them a stupid idea, then, like, executes the plan poorly, but he's, like, presenting himself as an expert to people that don't know he's not an expert. Yeah. And it's like this, okay, that's funny, but also, like, if I were that guy, I would probably beat you up.
There are real people involved in this.
And, like, I guess, like, where do you... this is, like, such a loaded and weird question, but where's, like, your mental line between, like, this is comedy versus, like, this is, like, performance art, because they're so intertwined. Almost like, I talk about wrestling a lot because I just do, but like that notion that like you as a stand-up comedian probably isn't Rob. It's probably like Rob.
It's like
plus.
A character kind of.
Yeah, it's like it's an archetype of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, how do you find that line where you're not you enough that you're comfortable to perform, but you enough that it's still your comedy?
Yeah. I think it comes back to weird interests. Well, so my background is in theater. So I've done theater for decades. I studied theater at the University of Northern Colorado. I'm a theater graduate because I love the money. I only did it for the money.
We're on our way, man.
And then, just this.
Just stacking it up with
but with pennies.
Yeah. They don't make those anymore.
Shit. So I had an interesting I had an interesting interaction with a scene partner one time. We were working on a scene from Arms and the Man, which is is it Ibsen? I want to say it's Heinrich Ibsen. It's an Ibsen play. But it's about this, this spoiled princess and this soldier who like breaks into her house, and he's ragged from being in war, and she treats him like a piece of crap. We'll come to find out he's like royalty. But he's had this experience in war that has like altered him, so he gets to see what humanity is really about. And then the comedy is veiled, but it comes from that place, sort of like a perfect strangers opposites attract situation. And we were doing this scene, and I was like, the script as written is really harsh. I feel like this character I'm playing is really harsh, and I'd like to imbue him with some more warmth. And my scene partner, Desiree Gagnon, who is in Pluribus, she was like, "You're naturally warm, so that's going to be there anyway." And I was like, "Oh, before that point, I never thought that Rob Walker was a part of the characters he played." And I feel like anyone who does performance, whether it's wrestling, whether it's performance art, comedy, magic, whatever, puppetry, your stuff is just going to sluice into this area anyway. And I think that when you're doing comedy, or at least when I'm doing it, I'm writing things from a perspective of things that I find interesting. So like I have a whole set that I did about a Goofy movie, where it was like, at first we talk about how like we don't know what happened with Goofy's wife. It's strongly implied that she's dead, possibly murdered in some sort of home repair accident, or like learning how to fly or something like that. But what if they got like regular divorced? And then I do this whole like very serious bit about her being like, we have a baby and I don't have any connection to this baby. Like, I have to leave you. And he's like, "So that's a no on the flapjacks?" And that is my sensibilities talking about a very serious thing. So, yeah. So I think it just comes from an area of interest. Like, am I interested in this topic? Can I discuss it in a way that is funny and also kind of personal? I don't know if that answers your question.
It does.
Hopefully.
It does to the best that you can. Yeah. Right. I ask dumb questions sometimes.
No, I think
it's
a very good question. And if you were to get Nathan Fielder alone without an audience and to ask him and be certain of his human answer, which I don't even know what that would be like.
I don't think it's possible.
But he would probably say he'd probably say something similar, like, "I'm fascinated by how the world works."
Yeah.
So when I was doing Nathan For You, we were taking on these sort of things. So it's not only like this project, but it's also my relationship with these people when it goes wrong.
And how do I confront that uncomfortability?
Yeah. And he probably gets, there's humor there, but there's also humanity, because we know what's up, but we're also with the people who aren't in on the jokes. We're like what's happening.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think about this stuff a lot, because there's these ultimate extensions of that kind of stuff, and when you look at what he's doing, because it has a direction and an intention, it feels less horrible. But then you fast forward the ultimate extension to an IRL streamer like Johnny Somali.
Oh yeah,
right?
the guy
that goes to Korea, and he went to Japan and got kicked out of that country, went to Israel, got kicked out of there, went to Korea, ended up facing
I don't know how
a
he did
decade in prison. And it's in general it's kind of the same thing, because he's just really just kind of screwing with people.
Yeah.
But the goal isn't to learn something, it's just to be shitty.
It's not an exploration of anything. It is. I was thinking about this the other day. The internet, everything's a double-edged sword, right? So I was reading some sci-fi book where they were talking about the invention of time travel in this world, and they're like, anytime you invent something, you also invent its opposite. Like that's just how the world works. So it
Yeah.
like splits. When the internet comes out, it makes us able to connect with people from all across the globe. So we're forming communities with when we perhaps thought we were alone in something, a fandom or an interest or whatever, and we're learning, oh, I have a pen pal now in this other place. But we're also giving attention to, and that's really noble. And there are people who wouldn't have careers without the internet.
Right.
Like we probably wouldn't know who Hank Green is without the internet.
Right.
And I think he's
Or like
someone.
a Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Yeah.
Like
their province is the internet, and we probably wouldn't know them without that. So that's a good thing. But then we're also giving the worst people in the world a microphone and a camera to do with whatever they want. And if they're not noble, if they're not, if they're not playing Dungeons and Dragons
Right.
and talking about labor relations and like misogyny and stuff like that, if they're just like, I just like making money and attention,
and being chaotic
yeah,
and horrible. Yeah.
then they get rewarded for that too. So it's this, yeah, I think about it all the time where it's like, I can't fully say that the internet was a mistake, but it democratized being an asshole in a way that nothing else has.
I think I found the way to come full circle on this.
Okay.
I think it occurred to me just now. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Onion buying InfoWars.
Oh man. I think it's good.
Right.
I've heard smarter people than me talk about this in ways that I had never thought of before. But now that I've heard it, I can't stop thinking about it. In that the Onion's, this isn't a good investment from like a business standpoint.
Right.
Like, you're not going to make money. They're not like it.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
What your real the real currency is, you're removing a bad person's ammunition and using it for hopefully good.
At least fun.
At least fun, yeah. like Alex Jones. I've heard a lot of people say that Alex Jones was never believed in these conspiracy theories. Like, he was playing a character and then eventually got absorbed into like this world where he was high on his own supply.
Yeah.
I've heard the same thing about Rush Limbaugh. Like, Rush Limbaugh started as sort of like a caricature of the right wing, and then eventually
just became it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of that's true, because I'm not going to research these guys enough to find out.
They're not very interesting.
That's okay. I have other things to do. But regardless of whether or not they believed it or they became to believe it, like, Alex Jones ruined the lives of people involved in Sandy Hook,
Right.
Whose lives were already ruined.
Right.
And then he just kept tormenting these people and having his ghouls torment these people. Taking away his bullhorn is the absolute least we can do. And I think it's wonderful that The Onion, a satirical newspaper, is the one to do it.
Yeah.
We seem to live in an age where justice is in short supply, or feels like it's in short supply. And it's nice when we see an organization not in it for the money, in it for the laughs and the justice and that sort of a thing. It's
Crazy to me that the court jester has been fundamental to like societal justice for hundreds of years. That there has to be someone pointing at power and going, look how fucking stupid that guy is. So that somebody goes, oh yeah, like these people are awful. We shouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And it takes like Onions, Stephen Colbert's, Jimmy Kimmel's.
Yeah, you have to have have to have juice, and you have to have money to be able to do it. And
Like-
there are people doing it. Yeah.
I mean, and I think in a way it also those people have juice, but they're also like on my YouTube every day, and I go to work and I'm like, oh, this joke, it made me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
And it creates like these doors to like have conversations that are based on something being funny, as opposed to something being infuriating. I mean, it'll come back to the infuriation, but we can get started by all having a good laugh about, you know, Donald Trump's rotten hand or whatever the fuck. You know?
Don't steal a witch's pie. That's the answer to that.
He ran out of monkey's fingers.
The thing, and to kind of bring it back around to performance and comedy and that sort of thing, Stephen Colbert seems to be, I don't know him personally, but seems to be a genuinely decent human being. With political opinions, who also has a spiritual belief system. So like, he's particularly fascinating to me because anytime we have someone who is religious and they mess up or they continue to be shitty, and then they're like, well, you don't like me because I believe in God or I believe in Jesus. And it's like,
no, we don't like you because of you.
No one really has a problem with Stephen Colbert talking about his Catholic faith. I actually find it beautiful and fascinating. Because he's not using it as a club to beat someone down with. Or he's not using it as like a cover to do shitty things. It's just a natural like extension of himself. And there are people out there, like Dolly Parton's another example where it's like, no, everyone loves Dolly Parton. No one cares that she's a Christian. Like, because she's not out there making people's lives worse.
I mean, and I think that's really what I think the big failing that I see like in our country when it comes to religious people is just like completely missing the point. Right? Is that almost every thing in every holy book, most of which I've, you know, at least interacted with on the ones that I've had the opportunity to interact with, they're all pointing in the same direction and they're all saying, hey, like, life's hard, help your people out. You know, and it's like, past that, you know, there's like people on the other team, they're going to go to hell, et cetera. But like, really, like, even the stranger, even the immigrant, even this person, like, we went to, I'm wearing the shirt proudly, but we went to Ska Fest last night. So we saw the Potato Pirates, Five Iron Frenzy, who I grew up with. You know?
When I saw the picture, I was like, Five Iron Frenzy.
And then like Aquabats and Dance Hall Crashers. So it's just like pure 90s ska. But like, you know, Five Iron, growing up with them and being in that Christian like punk and ska scene and stuff, like every show, you know, we were talking about Jesus all the time. And it was awesome to see Reese get up there, a guy that I've known for decades, talk about, you know, just his songs and stuff, and be able to just say, this song is about how Jesus says we should treat immigrants kind. And that's all you need to say, because that's what the song's about. And nobody's like, oh, stupid Christian band.
Haley Williams.
People cheered because, like,
Haley Williams, Christian.
It's pointing in the right direction.
But
you know?
she stands up for gay people and for trans people and wants everyone to be cool at her concerts. Also, she looks like a goddamn princess.
Like, it's just, it's one of those things where it's like all these things that we've created, you know, religions and politics and, you know, sciences and maths and, you know, literatures, it's all meant to just connect us instead of like pull us apart. And it's a big part of why I've been doing this, right? It's because like to create this like atmosphere where we just talk about stuff, and I think more people need to do that. And I'm trying to do as many of them face to face as I can.
That's great. No, I love that idea.
But I don't know. I guess that probably leads me to wrapping it up.
All right, sure.
I always ask because I just never know, like, if people have things that they want to share, like projects or anything. But if you have anything or a place people can look for you.
I'm terrible at this, but if you want to find me, I'm on Instagram under @Quarantastic. And then you can find all my links through there, through a link tree. Rob Walker Films is the link tree if you're interested. I did a second movie with Chris LaMartina, who is the director and creator of the WNUF Halloween special. It's called the Trick or Treat with Reed Richmond. So if you're into things like obscure media and like 90s sort of commercials, this movie is essentially a Halloween special ripped from the Sci-Fi Channel in the 1990s with commercials and everything, and it's great. Awesome. So Trick or Treat with Reed Richmond, you can find that online, buy it, it's great. That's kind of it. Yeah.
Nice. And this is Skittles.
Skittles!
This will probably be my highest viewed video just because of
Just
Skittles.
cats.
Yeah.
You got it. The internet loves cats.
They do. All my shorts are just of my cats. And they get roughly 1,000 times more views. Well, thank you, Rob.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure, man.
I hope you had as much fun with that interview as I did. Rob's a great guy. He referenced the Disneyland short story. I think he referenced it in the interview, but he sent it to me. Holy shit, it's hilarious. And what's funny is I can hear people's criticisms that, the right-wing extremists that take over It's a Small World are, they're too over the top with, their rhetoric, et cetera, et cetera. Nah, I've heard people say that crap on Fox News before. Like, it seems ludicrous, but it also seems normal, and that's sad. But yeah, anyway, past that, hopefully I get a chance to re-interview my mom. I've got, I'm reaching out to some people. I think I'm going to do some kind of roundtable discussions with a few of my friends and stuff about different things. Next week, I'll hopefully be back like next week. That's kind of my goal. Last week just really snuck up on me. I guess. Oh yeah, I'm probably supposed to say if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. You should probably like and subscribe and all that stuff. I think we're supposed to say those things as YouTubers, but I just never think to. And it's probably because I'm not a very interesting guy. I'm just interested in interesting things. And if I hated you, you would know. Yo,